Hello and welcome to Godly Play. You may remember the last few weeks we've been hearing the story of Moses, and an exciting story that is, let me tell you. You may remember that last week we learned about how Moses and his brother Aaron led the children of God through the sea. Remember, the waters rolled up so that they could pass through. And then later, the soldiers from the Pharaoh couldn't get through, and Moses and the people of God escaped. After that, the people of God wandered through the desert for a very long time. In fact, at the end of everything, it was 40 years. That's a long time to be wandering in the desert. There were so many of them. But God took care of them. He sent them something called manna every day so they would always have something to eat. But they got impatient, and sometimes they doubted that God was going to help them. And they started doing bad things. Now, one day, God told Moses that he wanted to talk with him. And he came to a place called Mount Sinai. And Moses went up to the top of Mount Sinai and spoke to God. And while he was there, God gave him something that are called sometimes the 10 Commandments. Sometimes we call them the 10 best ways to live. And they were on tablets, just like this tiny, tiny little thing, written so that they could remember what the 10 best ways were. So, these are the 10 best ways. One of them is to love God. Another one is to keep the Lord's Day special. So that's why Sunday is a special day, because that's the Sabbath. Another one is to keep the name of God holy and not use it lightly. Another one is only to worship God, no one else, or nothing else for that matter. And to love God with all of your heart. Some of the other best ways to live teach us how to love people. One of them is to honor your parents, always obey your mother and father. Another one is to respect all life and don't kill. Another one is to be faithful to your marriage. Another one tells us not to steal. Another one tells us always to be honest and tell the truth. And then the last one tells us to value what you have and don't be jealous of what other people have. And at the bottom of all of these, it's important for us to remember that God loves us. So I like this way of looking at the 10 Commandments or the 10 best ways to live because it helps me remember things. And basically, the 10 Commandments tell us to love God and to love people. And so if you're ever in a situation where you don't know what to do, you can just say to yourself, is this showing love for God or is this showing love for people? And if it isn't, maybe you shouldn't do it. I wonder a lot of things about these 10 best ways. I wonder which are the hardest things for certain people to do. Maybe you could try to figure out what you think is the hardest one to follow. I think some of the hard ones would be, well, valuing what you have and not being envious of what other people have. I know sometimes I see somebody with something that I would really like to have, and I'd like to have that. But that's not right. And it's not always easy to be honest either. So maybe you could give some thought to that in the next week. And that might be something, again, you could talk to your parents about and to your brothers and sisters. Maybe ask them what they think would be the hardest of the 10 best ways. All right, well, I will see you next week. Some of you, perhaps, I will see in Sunday school soon. And until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye.